Hi, hello, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. In this episode, I look at why I've got a big stick in the boat. I explore the fuel tanks on board the Grey Wagtail, and I go to get some fuel. What could possibly go wrong?
Now, two things I've been wondering about is this big long stick. I have one in the engine bay and a wooden one up by the stove, and I've just worked out they're actually my meters for checking levels of diesel and water. So this metal one is for the diesel. Okay, so the back tank's pretty full. This is the heating tank, I believe, and I can still see diesel in there, so I don't really need to dip that tank. The chain, I guess, used to be attached, but no longer appears to be so. The side tank, I've been told, is the main engine tank. Now, interestingly, this has no chain on it, and I can't see a thing down there, so I'm going to have to dip it. So let's see. Ooh, wow, that goes down a long way. I can see why that sticks so long. Oh, I've just noticed there's some marks on here, which I guess are indicators of fuel level, so I think I'll put that in upside down. Bring it back out. Wow, there's about 2 inches, about 10 centimeters possibly on the bottom of that stick. So clearly I do need to get the boat refueled quite soon, I would guess. So I think I'll try and do that today. Got to love the state-of-the-art fuel gauge system. A stick with some marks on it. Alright, off we go. Fuel time. Fortunately, this is going to be a bit tricky. It's quite windy out here. Swan trying to take off in the background. Clearly a comment on my boating skills, and the wind's got me. It's blowing me the direction I don't wish to be blown in. I was aiming for that gap behind me, but I got a little bit off. No more than 45 degrees, that's what I'm sticking to. Giving it a bit of power. Help it come around. Thanks for all the great tips and advice on YouTube, it's been fantastic. Huge help to me. A bit more power. Just to help it swing around. There we go, getting there, coming around to the exit, and I need to get straight into the next part of the marina for fuel. So straighten up now. Not bad, even if I say so myself. Pride before a fall. Just ease out of here in case there's anything coming along. I don't think there is, but you never know. Nothing up that way, nothing I can see is that way, so that's good. Life a bit easier for me.
marina.
No more than 45 degrees, and I'm telling you, that seems to be a top tip. And putting that little bit of power on really sort of helps the boat move around. Fantastic. So thank you so much to everyone that suggested that. Right, now all I need to do is get into the other part of the marina. And of course, it's spitting with rain, typical. Now there is a bridge across this entrance to the marina, not an up and over, but a sort of swing bridge, and they're supposed to leave it closed. Now, I didn't check before I came to see whether or not it was in fact closed. Hopefully it is. If it's not, it's going to be... Ah yes, I can see it now. It is in fact closed, which is great news. Still a bit breezy out here. You gotta get a quick burst of power. Now they come around. Might have to do a bit of reversing here. Turned far too late for that corner. Far too late. And a bit of reversing. Just made it around that. Wow, that was close. Bit of power on this side. Judging by the state of the wall going into here, I'm not the only one that's had problems getting into this part of the marina. There's some fairly serious damage to the brickwork here. Okay, so I now just need to carry straight on. And the fueling point is down here on my right, and that wind has really got up. What I don't need, try not to hit the bridge. Of course, the slightly inconvenient thing is this fueling point must be about 50-75 yards from my boat, but of course the hose doesn't go that far, so I have to bring it around to refuel it. There's the pump, so they said more up near it, and come and find somebody in the office and they will do the refueling. So let's see. I do wonder, as some of the comments said, whether or not my engine revs are too high, because going slow is not that particularly slow in this boat. Alright, that's where I need some more. got me. Wind got me big time there. Now I'm far too far out from the bank. Okay, lesson number one is I should have parked there. So I need to get out of here now. Easy does it. Now what I think I need to do is walk it down the marina that way. So I might go back as far as I can. At least it's swinging around in that general direction, which is good. Okay, keep going around. Wind's got me again, which is actually helping. It's pushing the bow. Well, made a big hash of that. Okay, so that's us refueled, some 170 odd litres. Now all I need to do is get out of here, which could be easier said than done. Seem to have ended up with quite a bit of diesel on my hand and on the side of the boat, which is a bit worrying. I have to give that a good clean later, but first let's get back to the mooring. Now at least the wind's helping me. It's blowing me out into the middle of the basin, which is good. Wind is catching me again, which again is really helping. Thank you, wind. Swinging that bow around nicely. Going to make mooring at the other end a bit of a challenge though. That was quite easy. Famous last words. Coming around very, very nicely. Almost looked like I knew what I was doing there. Okay, lining up nicely for the exit. Still haven't quite got the pivot point worked out on this boat, so I don't know really when to start the turn. My guess is about now in a way, but I've got to take into account that close bank there. Nothing's coming up the canal, which is a relief. Burst there. Do a bit of reversing. Looks like I left that turn far too late again. Oh, hit the bank opposite. many people have hit that bank.
It was this point that I really started to struggle to get the boat off the bank. The wind was coming across the canal, and as hard as I tried, I just could not get the bow to swing around and come away from that bank. I tried reversing backwards and forwards across the canal, but every time I tried to do a turn and I put my side into the wind, the boat was blown back against the bank. Backwards and forwards across the canal I went, but I just couldn't get the bow off that bank, no matter how hard I tried.
That wind suddenly got up, making it really difficult to steer.
The bow just remained stubbornly stuck to the bank, and the wind was getting stronger.
Hit the bank again.
At this point it looks like I have been successful in getting the bow off the bank, but in fact it was still stuck there. I just couldn't get the bow to swing around.
Just can't get the bow off that bank.
Yep, the bow was still on the bank. It was at this point I decided that the only thing I could really do was run along the bank and hopefully get to a point where there was slightly less wind and I could get the bow to move out from the bank. If you've got any advice here about what I should have been doing, please let me know in the comments below.
That was tough. I finally got off that bank. The wind was just blowing me against it. I just could not get the boat to turn. It was incredible. Okay, let's see how much of a hash I can make getting back into the mooring now. Okay, here we go.
It was at this point I realised that if it had been that tough to get the boat off the bank, how was I going to get the boat into the mooring? The wind is coming directly towards me across the basin here, and at this point I'm just turning into the wind. This was going to make mooring very, very tricky. But first I had to make a hash of getting back into the basin.
Side there, big time. Right. Now that's my mooring there. This is going to be a real challenge. It's not helped by having the office just up there watching me.
Okay, here we go with attempt 1 to get into the mooring. This was my first attempt to get into the mooring, and while I got the bow into the mooring, my stern was too far down the basin and was being blown back down the basin by the wind. I needed to have another go. I managed to reverse the bow out of the mooring.
The wind's got me again.
And I managed to avoid hitting any of the other boats in the marina.
That wind is just completely swinging me around.
It was at this point I decided to reverse back up the marina towards the office. My thinking here was to use the wind to help me get into my mooring spot. Once I felt I was far enough up the marina, I started my turn back into my mooring spot. And the wind really helped me here, it helped push the stern around. Plus, if I did get it wrong, I hit the jetty, the wooden jetty, and not my neighbour's boat. Oops, and contact.
Not the most elegant of arrivals, but I got it back. That's the main thing. Well, that's it. I have fueled the Grey Wagtail. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. On the screen now you'll see a QR code which, if you scan it, will take you through to the newsletter, to which you can subscribe to keep up with the adventures on Grey Wagtail. Also on the screen now is a link through to another video in this series. Thanks for taking the time for watching. Bye for now.